How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AngelsBobs Plus. Episode 3. Last episode we got some science going. We increased power a little bit. We got steel finally being made, which is kind of the big bottleneck that we were waiting on, but now we're starting to get this produced, and hopefully we can start to get some where is it? Metallurgy going. Actually should queue some more things up here. I'm going to get steel axe. God, I remember when steel axes were in the game. You actually had to craft them. Let's go ahead and get... let's get long-handed. Let's get those basic gas and green. That sounds good. So we do have a little bit of a mini factory, little automation going. Let's see. So to get this going, we just need steel, really. Steel and iron. We should probably get... Okay, what is this load by? It doesn't really have enough input. Why does it not have enough input? It might be forge drills to one. I'm not sure. But we at least are getting the steel we need, which is a very big component that I know will slow us down. It looks like we're getting just a little bit of extra. So you know what? I'm going to actually have it go into a chest, right? So it gives each of the furnaces a chance to get the iron, but if it passes by them, I want it to go into a chest, just so that way I have some extra iron that I can go grab without having to set up a whole other iron thing, which wouldn't really be too much of a issue, but I just don't want to have to deal with it. So we do have the iron unlocked, so once we get the blast furnaces going, that should mostly be able to speed things up. So let's go ahead and grab... kind of feel like a chicken with my head cut off, because I'm kind of like mentally planning some things out. Like, well, okay, what do we need to do next? I wish there was a button to just like auto check. Yes, I've looked at all the new things. I'm sure it's a setting, and I'm sure that it's a thing somewhere, whether it's a mod setting or some other setting. If it is, let me know down in the comments below. That would be great. Yay, loaders. Loaders are like my favorite little tool. They're amazing. Some people say they're a little bit cheaty because of how it affects the throughput of things, but I think it's fine. I say everybody thinks a lot of things are cheaty, but it, I guess, comes down to the player and how they view their experience and what's cheating to them and what isn't, right? Some people will play with, like, console commands. Not just in Factorio, but other games, right? Some people will say, oh, well, this is cheating, and others will say, no, it's just part of the experience. Just comes down to, I guess, how you want to play, right? Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and get one blast furnace. I believe it's one blast furnace to two... So let's go ahead and make a new production line. Not science, add recipe. I want to look at iron. So to make iron, we want to make it from that, right? So choose my factory. So I believe it's... Yep, 2, and then I believe it's 1, right? Yes. So I switch that to 1, and then switch that... Oh, right, because it's... Oh. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, well. I know what the ratio is. It's 1 to 2 to 6. So we do need quite a bit of steel, but we are getting it made much faster than... not previously, but much faster than, I guess, one would say is normal or slow. We have moderate production, I guess, of it for what we have in terms of science. So we do just need more steel. We do need to get more circuits, though. Why do we not have enough circuits? It says we have plenty. Nice, we have plenty of copper, plenty of wood. I think it's just that they need to be built. Yeah, so let's go ahead and wait. You know what? I'm going to make them because I'm going to have to make them anyway, so let's just go ahead and make a bunch of bunch of circuits just so they're in our inventory to kind of save process rate. I always kind of think of a lot of people look at the philosophy, I especially look at the philosophy of always be crafting something, right? Because just like an assembler should always be working, and if it isn't working, why isn't it working? You know, is it because the input's empty, or is it because the output's full, right? Those are the only times that an assembler should be stopped. For instance, the output's full, this is stopped. The output is not full, but they're working, right? So that's kind of one way to think about it, is always be crafting something, especially in your inventory, because this assembling machine should always be crafting. Your personal assembler should always be doing something, because otherwise you're just kind of wasting it, right? It costs you no energy. You can queue up pretty much infinite amount of things, so why not? So we do need just a little bit more steel to get the induction furnace and then the casting machine. We are also going to need a ore sorting facility, so let's go ahead and get that queued. Which I will go ahead and show you what that does. It will actually sort the crushed ore into its components. It will sort it into iron and copper. Now to get those other ores that you see on the right hand side of the screen, here, over here, to get the iron and copper is tier 1 that we can get from just sorting the crushed ore. To get silicon, nickel, titanium, and tungsten, that requires further processing of the crushed ore. So there's different tiers of those, like, processing we'll have to do. And we'll get to that later on in the series, but for now, we will just be doing things, right? So we can go ahead and get the one induction furnace. It is going to cost us quite a bit. I just want to get the process going so that, one, we can visualize it, and two, we can kind of get more iron going from it. Because in order to get to, I believe it's green science, right? Yes, in order to get to the steel, we're going to need oxygen, quite a few more researches. Not really that many. We could probably get it kind of soon. It's not too far off from us. But this will just make the ratio of how much iron that goes in to how much steel comes out much, much, much better. Because quite honestly, this is very slow. This is not a very good way to be spending, because it's an 8 to 1, right? We're spending 8 iron to get 1 little bit of steel. It's a very expensive process. So in a way, we do want to try to get to steel through metallurgy as soon as possible without having to spend more iron than we have to. Because although we are in an infinite world with infinite resources, I'd prefer not to spend things I don't have to. So we do have the induction furnace, we do have the blast furnace, so let's go ahead and kind of, I guess, get this set up a little bit just so we can kind of see it, right? So it's a pretty big machine. I believe it's a 5x5. And so let's go ahead and do that and that and that. So we can go ahead and put it like that, right? And then, so we did research the copper, so that's why the copper recipe is showing up. So it's going to make, so first off, we put iron ore in here, then it's going to make us these iron ingots. Can't really do anything with them. But if we melt the iron ingots, we can turn it into molten iron, or 120. Now the reason that it's set up like this is because we'll get another induction furnace, because like I said, it's a 1 to 2 to 6. And the 6 being casting machines. The casting machines takes the molten iron and turns it into this iron plate that we all know and love from vanilla and just the game in general, right? So we're still waiting on a little bit more steel. We need about 3 more pieces. So while that's going, let's actually go ahead and take a look at power. Going fine. Did I hook everything up? Yes. Don't need to move either of the coal miners yet. Science is going fine. Science is actually backing up. We could add more science labs, but I don't think it's really needed right now. No point to... I mean, there's not no point. Obviously, science would speed up by doing that, but... And we could add more assemblers because the gears are backed up, so that means we can support more of these machines, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine for now. Alright, so it looks like we have enough. So let's go ahead and make a casting machine. We're going to need some pipe. So let's just go ahead and make some iron pipe. Now, we could make copper pipe, because we do have a backlog of copper, or even stone pipe. I don't believe... Okay, so the different types of pipe do have a little bit of a different distance. They will connect to each other. But there used to be flow, or capacity, similar to belt, that each pipe had. I don't see it. It might be like a ghost amount, but it's not currently present. So notice how it has a bunch of inputs. We can put it really anywhere, but we'll put it on this one. And we'll go ahead and say iron. And we'll do like that. And then we'll do something like that. So now technically if we put iron ore into this system, it should work. This does require fuel. So this is electric and this is electric. However, the induction furnace, or no, blast furnace, sorry. Not the induction furnace, the blast furnace uses fuel. So we do have to supply it with a fuel line. So we'll add 2 inserters there. One for the fuel, one for the ore. So we'll go like that. So we are gonna need, we'll get to the sorting here in a minute. I need some more miners. Yeah, so we need tin in order to get loaders, which, unfortunately, the thing that gives us tin, this bobmonium, we don't really have a lot of. We only have 32,000, so we are going to have to find a bigger deposit. Okay, so it looks like there's a 2.5 million up here, so that's not too far away, so we should be able to belt that. Obviously, I might want to train that eventually, depending on if that ore patch is depleted by the time we get to trains or not. Because tin is going to be similar to iron, honestly, in the early game. Is we're going to need quite a bit of it to get belt. Because in order to get yellow belt, we need tin. So we're going to be using quite a lot of tin. So let's go ahead and set up a... I could space this out, but... So I think it's time to get rid of those. I'll just go like that. Alright. Do you have the underground, right? Yes, we can make underground. Let's go ahead and make some more of that. So we're going to need a little bit more iron. So let's go ahead and grab that. Oh, we ran out of fuel here. Cool. Yeah, so the iron is backing up, which is nice to see. It really is. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, I guess we could circle here, and we wouldn't need the underground. But, actually, no, we'll just do that, because that actually looks a little bit easier. So we'll just do this. It does seem a little bit, you know, quasi-redundant, but I just want to circle around. We're flying through research, which is nice to see. Let's get inventory upgrade. And what's the next thing we should do? Jeez, we can already start to get some of those more advanced things. Let's get coal processing, because I know we're going to need that. And then let's go ahead and just hoover some iron from the belt. And just make a bunch of transport belt, right? Now let's go ahead and get that going. So let's go over like so, like so. Alright. Like that. Oh no! I ran out of fuel. So where am I going to grab? Because I turned this off, right? Yep. So you know what? Let's do that. It fits nicely in there. So this is what I mean by the 2x2. And we do want to take the wood out so that way we can input the coal. I'm just going to use pretty much belt regardless, so we'll just, I guess we'll just drag it from this direction over. And yes, we do have belt brush. I believe that's picker. Adds that. So let's go like that. Now let's go ahead and bring our belt all the way over to the right here. I don't think we're going to have enough. I think we're actually going to run out. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit short, but that's fine. We do have plenty of iron that we can just go nab. Alright, so let's go ahead and go like so. And grab a bunch of belt. Alright, there we go. So that's now going to be all connected up, and we'll start to get our little iron system flowing. Well, not quite. We do have to get the iron ore, which is what we'll do over here. So we're going to disconnect these two. we will go ahead and let these two continue fueling science. But for here... So now what we have, right, is we have... something like that. Alright, so now it's going to output... Well, let's take all that out so it's not only outputting that. So now we're going to sort the ore. So now it's going to give us slag, iron ore, and copper. So it's a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. So it makes 4 input, 4 output. So unfortunately, we don't have loaders yet, so we can't... Do we have filter inserters? No. We could use chutes. I believe those do filter. But for now, what we'll do is, because the system is down here, we could technically have moved it up here, and then it would have just pulled. I'm going to do that. But we're just going to move this system over. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This wasn't where it was going to live anyway. A lot of Factorio is trial and error, right? Picking things up, putting things down, just kind of seeing how they flow and function together. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put this right here. And the reason for it is because what will happen is it will only take the iron out. And then the other shit we can we actually do something like this. Put a buffer chest here. And so then that way it will still take the copper and slag out. And then any iron ore that also gets taken out here will just be put into the machine. And then we'll go ahead and put one of those. For coal to be put in. Then we'll put this machine here just so we know kind of our tolerance for. This is going to be built on the ore patch a little bit, but that's fine. Eventually we'll tear this down and put things kind of where they're going to end up going for the actual factory, but for now this is fine. So because we are only going to be using one machine, we'll put 2 inserters, and so all of it will go into there. So now we do have a little bit of melted. So we want to make sure the input is placed there, and then there. And then like that. And look, now we are making iron at a ratio of... I believe it's... Let's see, so we put 24 iron in. We get 12... Yeah, so we put 24 iron ore in, we get 24 iron ingots. 24 iron ingots get melted down into 240 molten iron, because remember we'll have 2 of those. And then 240 gets divided by 6, so it's a 1-to-1. So this ratio is a 1-to-1. So we will get all the iron we put in, where this ratio here is, I believe, a 3-to-2. So it's not it's not a very effective way of getting iron. But of course we have to do it in the early game. So it's fine that we have to do it, but now that we have this going, we don't want to be doing this way anymore. So what we'll do is we'll just put it underground here and just go about that. Yeah, that's about good. And then we'll go ahead and disconnect both of these. All right, and then we'll go ahead and throw that in there. There we go. So now obviously we could do something similar over here with the copper. We could of course set one up right here adjacent to it, or even move the chest here and shift that over a little bit. There's definitely different ways we could play around with it and kind of bootstrap it together, but for now things are just getting bootstrapped while we get going. So now let's go up here. We are about to get green science, right? Once we get some of the green science, we'll actually be progressing a little bit faster. We do have nanobots. Let me get nanobots being made. Not that it's going to be super apparent at first, but they will be useful. As we are. Ooh, that's a good amount of steel we're actually able to have on hand now. So obviously we want to scale this up, so that way we're able to handle all of it, because this is right now very, very slow. We're We're not able to fully smelt all the way. This is only able to smelt half of it at a time. So we'll get another one and 2 more casting machines, and we'll of course go ahead and see that as we get closer to our inevitability with expanding. The expanding factory is expanding to meet the expanding needs of the expanding factory. So the factory must always grow, chat. I say chat, but that's only because I'm used to streaming on Twitch. But this will end up being on YouTube. Although we are doing a live stream. Well, currently, at the time of recording, it is a Thursday. It is not a Thursday, it is a Saturday. See what I mean? It's late in the week. At the time of recording, it is a Saturday. So we are streaming tonight. But by the time you guys see this on YouTube, it will probably come out Monday. And then if you're seeing this in the future, you're seeing it whenever you're seeing it, I guess. Right now, all we're doing is just kind of waiting for, not necessarily things to happen, but some things to craft. So now we'll go ahead and get this other induction. Go ahead like that, and like that. So now, like that. And we'll copy, like that, and like that. There, so now that should not significantly increase our iron production, but it will increase it from what it was. We are still limited by this machine, of course, so let's add just some more. We don't actually need 3, we only need 2. So now what this machine will do is it will actually only ever grab the iron because of the way the inserters are timed, right? So as you can see, 2 iron are being pulled out, and then this pulls out the 1 copper, the 1 slag. So as you can see, now we're producing 3 sets of 8, or 24 iron every, I don't know, every little bit, versus only, well, we're still producing that same amount. It's just it was all strung out in 1. So it doesn't really change anything. I guess it uses a little bit more power. Speaking of power, yeah, you're doing fine. So let's go ahead and get some tin going. So we do have an ore crusher for that. That should be fine. We do have to be careful because unlike inserters, which will only insert the appropriate item into whatever it's inserting into, unless of course it's like a belt or a chest that doesn't really care what's being inserted into it, this miner will output if, so for instance here, if I put it here, notice on the right hand side it says expected resources 10k bobmonium, 1.6 rubyite, and 113 sapphirite. It will randomly output the rubyite and sapphirite, and because this is only going to take in bobmonium, the miner will stop functioning, which I think is a little bit dumb, but otherwise I guess you could cheese when you have ore patches like this. You could literally just turn, I guess, all the ore patches to maximum size, maximum frequency, and then ore would be everywhere, and you could just be like, oh, well, it's fine, I'll just deal with it by putting miners. Eventually what we'll have to do, though, is mine all of this, put it into a warehouse, and then sort the ore out. Alright, so that should be mining. Yeah, it's gonna be a very slow process, but it's happening. Because we don't have the metallurgy, we're gonna have to smelt this quasi not great. So we'll just do that. And then I'm gonna grab another one of those, another crusher, and then if at all possible, yeah, another miner. So as you can see, now we are getting tin, which we're gonna need to make some fancy things. So let's go ahead. Right now we're just kind of waiting on research. We'll probably speed up research actually a little bit. But for now, let's chop some trees. Our favorite hobby of chopping trees and chopping rocks. It's always fun. Yeah, so here's a good spot. We can put one here. And then Yeah, because so the mining here is 100% for sapphire. It doesn't show it because it's just the baseline, but ammonium's to 250%, so this is going to be a very slow mining process, unfortunately. But it's fine. We don't need tin, although we need it in a lot of things and in a big quantity. We don't need a lot of it right now, so it's fine that it's slow because it will slowly build up over time. But now that we have it going, we also want to get lead going as well, so I do want to grab more iron. Why isn't this functioning? This isn't functioning. Oh, see what I mean? We did not grab the ore. We failed to grab it. So we will have to make sure we grab, or, well, not necessarily ore, but the crushed stone. That's one of these things that you have to make sure you monitor. And so over here, it's being taken care of because it's being stored here, but it will build up here as well. There's a buffer, and yeah. Here the buffer is internally, and it will stop the machine from functioning like we saw. Miners are still going up there. We could probably go ahead and add some more assemblers here on red sides, just to get it going a little bit. But I think we should probably plan out just where things are going. So we do have a little... Should probably actually get some more radars going. Just so we can get more of the world seen, like down over here, to see kind of what things look like. So I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead and get some radars, and then let's go ahead and, because I know this will eat a bunch of our power, get another steam engine, another boiler, and a couple more sets of pipe. Now the radars are big. Yes, we have radar plus for RSO, even though we don't have RSO installed, just because I like having massive radars, because I like having less radars overall, and just knowing that they'll scan more and they'll scan further. So power is, yeah, now dangerously close to our limit, but that's kind of fine. So what I'm thinking here is, let's do refining. Well, I guess ore. So we'll put the ore process like there, and then we'll do iron plus copper, smelting. We'll do probably about here. We'll do other or smelting. Probably down here. Maybe. Well, yeah, okay, we can't put the tags on the unexplored areas, but we'll just put it right there for now, and then we'll do main bus. I'm guessing the main bus will probably start about here, which is unfortunate because this ore is going to end up being in the way. Which I guess is fine. I don't know. It's one of those things, it's like, I don't want to build over the ore, but sometimes we have to, because I guess we ran out of our queue. Yeah, let's get that researched, and then warehouses, because warehouses are, what allows us to do things. Yeah, let's get basic solder. Or solder, depending on who you are, right? There is an L. So S-O-L-D, solder. It's not sod, there is an L, so it's solder. So we'll go ahead and get basic electronics next, which I will say, I think it's a little bit odd that I'm able to technically craft loaders, but I have to research electronics before that. I think it's a little bit funny. Let's see what's next. Let's get electrical energy distribution just so I can get medium power poles. And assembly machine 2s. Oh, actually, those both require green. Mining drills research 1? Maybe not. Maybe we'll hold off until, I guess let's get tin and lead smelting both, because we'll actually need those for solder as well, or solder. I will probably say it both ways. Feel free to yell at me in the comments. Yeah, just military so we can use the submachine gun. Alright. As much as I don't want to build over the ore patch, I unfortunately think that will probably happen. I mean, we'll try to not build on it. Like, we could just leave a gap in the bus, which is fine. Yeah, sure, we'll extend the bus a little bit, and yeah, sure, then we'll have probably a train or something to deal with, but who cares? It doesn't have to be perfect. Every factory is a little bit unique, right? So, if we have to, we'll skip over it, and same thing with these. If they're in the way, we'll just go over them. So yeah, so we'll do main bus there, and then... PetroChem is a fun thing, but it takes up a lot of space. Luckily, oh, I just noticed that. Cancel. Our oil and natural gas are right next to each other. And as you can see, the resources on them are turned significantly up, I believe, all the way up. Because I don't want to have to deal with multiple fields of oil and gas. It's a pain in the ass to have to pump and deal with and transfer and shit. So just fields that are maxed, so I don't have to get multiple fields. That's it. That's my logic behind it. I just don't want to deal with it. It's already a pain in the ass to deal with. PetroChem's enough of a punishment. But that's good, though, that they're next to each other like that. That's going to make PetroChem really nice. So we actually might move PetroChem just a little bit up. And we actually might have to move it a little bit up anyway. In terms of trains, I think we already have a pretty good open area right here. Well, actually, trains are going to be kind of north of ore processing. So trains actually might be here in the middle of the ocean, but I guess for now we'll do trains. We'll just say, like, I don't know, here. And we'll say power here. So like boilers and stuff will probably be up here, and then solar will probably be in the ocean. We'll landfill some of it if we have to. Okay. And you've probably also noticed we don't have cliffs turned on. I hate cliffs. I can't. Like, yes, I know it makes the game look a lot different, and it does make for interesting playthroughs, and yes, you can remove them with explosives. I just don't want to deal with them. I don't like them. They look cool. I like that they're in the game, but I personally don't like playing with them, but I do like that they're a feature you can have in the game if you want them. I'm just glad that as the developers have chosen to, they have added the ability so we don't have to play with them if we don't want to, which, in my case, I don't want to. And I think developers who add those types of things into a game should be applauded. They should really be applauded, because I don't think enough games add that feature to be able to turn off features that you don't want to play with. And that's one of them. I don't want to play with them. Let's go ahead and remove these. Cool. And it looks like it's about that time again. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video. And leave a comment, question, or other thing you might have down in the comment section below. And as always, I will see you next time. Peace.